Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how great trails are in Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and joining me for another episode of Snail Trail 4x4 podcast is the one and only Mr. Snail Trail 4x4 himself, Jimmy J. Hey, you're wearing a Cruise Moab t-shirt.
I am.
Yeah.
Registration's coming up.
It is coming up.
I think the 10th of February, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
You're not making it.
I don't know if I sent it. I know I'm not making it, but I'm trying to think if I got an email that said that. I also haven't checked my email since like Thursday.
I don't blame you. We've been busy.
Yeah. No, I did get a text message though from Cruise Moab people asking us what day we wanted to run Pritchett.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Not happening for me.
I got the same text message, and then the next line was, did you put a winch on yet? No, but there will be a winch on before I go to Cruise Moab.
Nice.
Might not have a horn, but I'll have a winch.
I got my super winch all wired up.
Ooh.
I ended up bypassing doing a solenoid. I'm going to see if the rig burns down.
Okay.
So we'll see. My solenoid was not working properly, so I wired it direct to the battery with 2-aught gauge wiring going all the way down my frame rail.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that works. So far, the winch works awesome.
You've used it.
I've used it. I got to use it 3-4 times over Winter Fun Fest weekend.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I really like that winch. It's actually pretty fast, pretty decent speed, and I love the wireless remote built into it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll put one of those on Bobcat, I guess.
You need
to figure out the bumper situation a little bit more, though.
Just weld it on.
That might be the easiest and quickest solution.
Just make sure you wear pants when you do it. Otherwise, you get a sunburn on your legs.
Well, it is winter here in Northern California, so that will probably happen. But for those that don't know, I think there's 2 bolts on the sides. So there's 2 bolts on each side, and then there's 2 bolts or 3 bolts in the front on each side. And the 2 bolts on each side fit, so those 4 bolts work. 3 bolts on the passenger side fit, and 1 of the 3 bolts on the driver's side fit. So they're still missing
2 bolts.
2 bolts are holes are off.
Oh.
So like you can't put the bolts in. You gotta I gotta oblong the hole, then put a washer in there, which might actually be the easier way to do it.
Maybe,
but it's already there, so I could just weld it as is and call it good.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I want to get it at least the best fixed part on that vehicle before I put the winch in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of force that your bumper will undergo when there's a winch on it, pulling at full amperage. So.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, I've pulled somebody's bumper off before. Well, they technically winched their own bumper off before.
When we were wheeling with Matt out on the Rubicon, and I turtled myself. We had to use the Spartan rope and soft shackle and their hitch receiver part, which was really cool. There's a video of that on Tyler's Instagram page, 4x4 Toyota Tyler. You said my bumper crinked, not crinked. What's the damn word for that? It made noises.
Moved? Oh, it creaked?
Creaked. There's the word. Yeah, it made noises. It creaked when Bobcat or when Cliff or all my trucks, when Kermit pulled Bobcat off the rocks. So that concerned me, and that's why I want to add more bolts. Or maybe I will weld it.
Yeah, I'm happy with my front bumper being welded on now that I've I think fixed the overheating issue. So I'm thinking about now planning out and doing the rear bumper and just welding all that up, because and all the time I've had the truck, I've only pulled the front bumper off once, and that was for Ori and Alex to build the new frame.
Right.
And then the rear bumper I've only pulled off once, and that was for Ori and Alex to do the rear cross member and the 4-wheel underground coilover suspension brackets.
Right.
Other than that, I've never had the bumpers off, and I haven't ever found a reason to take the bumpers off. So I'm like, I think it's just time to weld them on and call it good.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to do that, which will be nice because looking at underneath the rear, I was talking with somebody over the weekend, and I have quite a bit of space under the rear right now.
Yeah.
Enough to maybe put a rear winch in.
Ooh.
So
you got another winch over there.
I do. I have 2 other winches over there that were supposed to be for the deck over trailer and the Bronco. And I'm thinking about putting my old Harbor Freight winch on the deck over.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll see. I might use one of the other winches as a rear winch.
That'd be fun.
It would be fun.
There's only one other person that I really know that has that, and that's Dimitri.
Dimitri, yeah. Lenny LePage does too.
Oh, okay. There's two. There's two people that I know that have that, but that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyways, so what were we talking about? Winches, front bumpers, Moab, Cruise Moab. That's what we weren't even into, like introducing the show yet. We got sidetracked. Oh man, that's funny. Look at us go. Welcome to a podcast, everybody, an off-roading podcast. We like to talk about off-roading, as you can tell, and off-roading parts, off-road accessories, off-road axles and suspension, and all sorts of fun off-roading things. And today is going to be no exception to that rule.
Not at all.
Let's see here.
I'm going to go on another bird walk already.
Okay, I'm ready.
Sort of.
Ready.
I think it'd be fun just to do a complete episode of just us bullshitting.
Well, that's the other podcast.
Oh. That's right.
We already do that, Jimmy. We could, if you want to take one of the other podcast episodes and just replay it on this one.
We could probably do that.
Yeah, we could do that.
It's like MCM2.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Mighty Car Mods Channel 2?
No.
Oh man, it's just them bullshitting. It's fantastic.
Nice. I honestly think that we should some night at like when we're out camping, just mic up like 8 people around a campfire and see what conversations come out.
If we could figure out how to do that without them knowing they're mic'd up, that would be absolutely epic. We should just figure out how to run an area mic.
An area mic hung in a tree?
Hung in a tree over an area around the fire. And it would be chaos to listen to because there'd be like 5 conversations happening at once.
It'd be like when all the podcasts came together and recorded in
that shit show. Yeah.
The shit show podcast. Yeah.
Well, we should contact trail chasers and see if they're going to make it out.
To Hammers?
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they at least come out there. They never like make it down into Hammertown though. It's like they're afraid or something.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either. It's scary in there.
Those rock crawler people are scary for us overlanders in our Nissans.
Yeah, they usually hang out and they don't come much further than Turkey Claw or even Cougar Butte sometimes. So
yeah. It's quieter over there.
It is quiet over there.
Okay, so moving on. Before we jump too far in, I do just want to do a quick shout out because there was a bumper at the start, but our good friend Sue came down with stage 4 cancer, lung cancer, and there is a GoFundMe page. So if you have a gracious heart and love supporting people that are doing good in the community and love supporting people that are helping others in the community whenever they had the chance, this would be a great opportunity to give back to a family that needs it.
Yeah, absolutely. Please consider even just $1. It works awesome. There's power in numbers. And I think that the off-roading community believes in ideals and being able to give back and help somebody who has, at the drop of a dime, helped everybody that she could. That's an ideal worth giving back towards. So go on, check out the GoFundMe, check out the Venmo. They're in the show notes, and give whatever you can. Super thankful, and we appreciate it. And I know she does, and her family does too.
Yeah, 100%. That was a strong left-hand turn in our conversation.
Yeah,
but okay, moving on from that, we've got a giveaway going on this month with Roller Cam. Mm-hmm. They make fantastic tie-down straps, cam straps, and now their new rope rollers, which work with paracord and have like a 35-pound strength on the little cam.
Tensile strength. Yep.
Tensile strength. I cannot stop thinking of ways that I could use the rope roller.
Yeah.
Every time I talk about it, I think of another way or another aspect to use these things with. And right now it's just covering my outdoor patio furniture.
Oh yeah.
With a tarp.
Yeah.
And I was just arguing with the assistant the other day about how we don't need to cover it. And I lost that battle.
Okay.
And so I've been thinking about how to I would get some bungees and tie this thing down. But now that we're talking about the rope rollers, I'm like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the solution.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to get a bungee or anything. I can just tie it down with the paracord and cinch it down with the rope roller and make the wife / boss happy.
Yes. Earn your payroll.
Yes, kind of. But I might get dinner tonight.
Oh, man. Yeah, they do have some really cool stuff. Do you think you could jimmy rig some rope rollers to be shoelace things?
Absolutely. So what you could do is you would put the clamp part around the top upper loophole.
Okay.
And then you
on
would
the shoe itself?
tie the opposite end.
Okay.
And then you do all the laces, and then when you cinch it on the rope roller, it would just tie everything down the line.
Okay. I'm interested.
You want to do that on your Crocs?
Yeah. You could tie the heel loop around my heel better.
It would be an increased sport mode.
It's the lockers. That's the real lockers.
Well, that is sports mode when you lower that extra strap.
That's 4x4.
Oh,
that's 4-wheel drive.
I've always called it sport mode.
Sport mode.
It's when you can't run with that, but when you put the 4x4 mode engaged, when you put it in sport mode, then you can run.
I guess that's fair. That's more of a sport mode. It would need, I guess the rope roller would be more of 4x4.
Yeah, you go around the Crocs and give it more grip.
Yes, like snowshoes.
Yes. Yeah, those weird chain things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It wouldn't be like crampons. That would be a little aggressive.
I'd really like to get some like KC lights or something.
They probably make, Casey should make one of those things that you push in those holes.
A little light bar.
Did you see that shoe that somebody made like an overland croc with all the accessories that you push into the holes?
No.
Oh man, it's hilarious. There's like a light bar and like a winch and like
I have seen the winch one.
Yeah. Okay.
There's roto packs too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Lee,
I was just gonna say, Lee, we need roto packs for Crocs.
All right. Yeah. So thanks, Rope Roller, for this idea and move it and our giveaway this month. If you want to get into the giveaway for the roller cams and rope rollers, and we have about 100, I think we did the math. It was about $160 some odd dollars.
About that. Yep.
Tie down straps and the rope roller setup. You can do that over on irate 4x4. To go over there, you got to sign in. Then you go down to the watch list and discuss section. Go to Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. And then on the right side, if you're on a PC, or at the bottom, if you're on mobile devices, that's how you can go and sign up. Those are the sign up sections there.
Sweet. Awesome. Let's see what other, we got the reviews as always. Always got reviews ongoing. We should look up and see where we're at now. I don't think we've looked in a few episodes. I was getting a little depressed because we were looking it up like almost every episode. And it wasn't changing. I was like, oh, we're going to stop looking this up.
Let's do it next on Thursday.
All right, we'll do some reviews
and not FNGs and not birthdays.
Okay, sounds good. So next Thursday, we'll do some more reviews, get you an update there. However, you guys still have time to probably get some extra reviews in if you wanted extra chances to win the 600 swag pack. I think last time we looked, we're at 586.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
586. So there might be a few more spaces left for the 600 swag pack. Go ahead and see if you can leave multiple reviews. You get multiple chances to win. The drawing for the swag pack at 600 will be done from everybody who has left a review up until that point on Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
So go check that out. And then once we hit 650 and 700 reviews, we're doing 2 more swag packs. So 1 each there. And then at 750... we're giving away a set of tires from Yokohama.
Set of tires. Any tire you want. Just has to be less than 20-inch rims and DOT approved.
DOT compound. Yep. Speaking of DOT approved, I found out something interesting.
The Department of Transportation are criminals?
That too. No, the bead locks.
Yes.
Bead lock wheels are technically not DOT illegal.
Oh, I was like, they're not DOT approved. I was like, yeah, I knew that. Wait,
No, they're
so
not illegal.
They are legal then?
They are legal. Yeah.
How? What? Where? Why?
Because
When?
it doesn't say anywhere that and it's apparently done per state. It's not a federal thing.
Okay.
It's not illegal. So the Department of Transportation does not say that beadlocks are illegal.
California does.
No, it's not.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a first?
I know, right? So California, if you want to run legal beadlocks, move to California. We are beadlock friendly here in California. But
so
yeah,
where was this? Well, then it must have been a rumor that you can't have beadlocks.
Supposedly, people were getting pulled over in Oregon is where this started.
Ah, well, nobody likes Oregon except for Haley and
True.
Daniel.
True.
Onyx.
True. But I mean, you and I have even seen the Oregon police are like,
oh, they're brutal.
They're brutal, man.
Especially if you have an out-of-state license
California plate. Yeah, they pull you over just for having a California plate.
I swear, cruise control was invented for Oregon.
Probably.
So California, do whatever the fuck you want. You go to Oregon, set that fucker at 65.
Yes.
Or else you're getting pulled over.
Yes.
Better yet, set it at like 63.
Yeah. So the rumor, and this is coming from somebody who makes beadlocks in the beadlock industry. He said that the furthest that he was able to trace that rumor back is to Oregon, of people getting pulled over in Oregon and then getting citations that include their beadlocks. And the Oregon police would not let them drive their vehicles off the highway. They had to get their vehicles towed off of the highway to a tire shop so that they could buy different wheels, put different wheels on, and drive their vehicle again.
Wow. And
it was such a big ordeal that that's where this rumor came from. And when in actuality, it was not actually illegal in Oregon. And this was, I believe, the mid 2000s, 2007, 2008, somewhere in that range. And, but the Oregon police claimed it was illegal. And the person was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. But they didn't want to fight it there and ended up going back and looking and doing all this research. And turns out it's not illegal.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's only a couple of states, supposedly, where the highway patrol in that state is picky on beadlocks. Everywhere else, and according to the Department of Transportation, federal Department of Transportation, beadlocks are not illegal, and the California Highway Patrol was not able to find anything about beadlocks being illegal in California.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Makes me happy because I just got a set of beadlocks.
Yes, you did. Yep. So interesting. Sweet. Fun fact about DOT legality.
There you go. So, don't call us for legal advice.
Yeah. We are not lawyers. Take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. As you should with this entire show.
Especially our main topic.
Yes. All right. So we got all that. We got reviews. We got giveaways going on. We got KOH coming up. There's the night run on Fisher Mountain on Wednesday night, hump night. So we will gather at 7 p.m. across the Boone Road from the main gate there at the big three-way intersection. We'll meet up there around 7 o'clock. Just look for Big Booty Judy, and we'll head on up to Fisher after that.
And Bobcat.
And Bobcat, too. Yeah. I think Big Booty Judy's more noticeable, though.
Yeah, Bobcat kind of
blends in. There's a lot of rigs that look like Bobcat at KOH, but they're cleaner panels than Bobcat. Hey. I mean, sorry, Bobcat's cleaner panels than them. That's what I meant. Which is saying something because Bobcat has some dented panels.
It does. Hussman.
Ooh, shots fired in Rhonda.
Yep, Rhonda. And a few others.
How does it make you feel that more people dent your vehicle than you do?
Makes me feel like I'm a good driver.
That's good. You should.
I don't need to dent my panels to get through a trail.
That's good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So anything else? Any other updates before we jump over into today's campfire discussion?
If you're a Jeep owner, you might want to turn it off now.
Earmuffs. All right. That's a good piece of recommendation. And for everybody else listening out there right now at this point in time, the ads that are not showing up on Spotify are on the very beginning of the episodes. Those are the ones you're not hearing. So if you're hearing this main topic ad that we're going to play right now from Brian at 4 Wheel Underground, we're going to see what Brian's up to. if you're not hearing the ones at the beginning of the episode, those are the ones that we are talking about. And that's the one you're missing out on. Just letting you know. I hope FOMO is kicking in and you drop Spotify. Good luck. All right, Jimmy, should we get over to our main topic?
Let's do it.
All right, everybody go ahead and grab your favorite drinks. Grab your s'mores. I'm going to have a Reese's during the break here, and we'll be right on back with today's campfire discussion.
At 4-Wheel Underground, we don't do DIY kits. With 26 years of experience, we've designed and engineered suspension geometry for maximum performance and predictability on and off-road, so that you don't have to. Check out 4-Wheel Underground to find the best engineered Toyota suspension solutions at 4wheelunderground.com.
Oh, welcome back, ladies and gentle ladies. Don't do it, Jimmy. No. You missed. Jimmy is eating something on a microphone, which is a big no-no. And he chose something that's going to take 15 minutes to eat here.
I'm having regret. Put a ginger flavored Laffy Taffy in my mouth.
Yeah, that's very taffy. It's they're almost like a soft Jolly Rancher more than they are taffy.
Well, why don't you tell everybody what we're doing today, and then maybe by that time I'll finish my candy.
Okay, sounds good. Today, we're going to be talking about vehicles. Obviously, we love off-roading. We love talking about vehicles in the first place. This one's going to be a little bit more fun because this is all about mine and Jimmy's opinion, so nobody else's opinions matter. There's no factual evidence coming into this show at all, which is going to be fantastic. We're going to have fun with it. But we oftentimes, out on the Rubicon, out on Fordyce, out on the trails here in Northern California, we run into a lot of other vehicles. And, it's fun to judge those vehicles. I don't know if that's the right word, but that's what I'm going with. So we have kind of a list of like vehicles that we run into and see out on the trails. And it could be anything from like most common vehicle we see on the trails to like the least capable vehicle we see out on the trails. What is the commonality there? And so we're going to have fun with it. We have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 or 10 different categories. 10 categories that we're going to be kind of looking over and coming up with our answer, our personal opinions and answers for these. So if you guys get offended out there, you can please do us a favor and call in to the complaint line, which is 408-800-5169. That is the Snail Trail complaint line. So if we offend you, I apologize now. Just call into that phone number and let us know. That way we have that feedback for next time and we can adjust the show accordingly. So that number is 408-800-5169. Fun story.
Yeah, keep going.
Keep going. You don't want that candy?
Oh. Stuck in a few teeth right now.
So Wayne, right? Wayne, our KOH Starlink guy.
Yep.
The IUD mesh.
Yep.
He was over at the warehouse checking out some Morphlate stuff. And he put in, I think it was the Snail Trail phone number. No, I think he's called in before. So okay. he was putting in some other phone number into his phone. And so as he was putting into his phone, I noticed all the numbers that were listed under the name he was putting it under. So the name of the contact was Snail Trail 4x4. And then under that name, we had, I think it was the Morphlate phone number, my phone number, the Snail Trail phone number, and Wheeling Wine and Whiskey's phone number. So, according to Wayne, which he's always right, he's a super smart dude, Wheeling Wine and Whiskey is a subset of Snail Trail 4x4. I would just like everybody out there to know this.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. So,
on a few different levels. Most capable, least capable.
Favorite to see, least favorite to see.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm waiting to see how they fire back now.
Yeah.
All right.
Lawsuit in the mail.
What is that? A slander?
Yeah.
A libel suit coming on. All right. So yeah, we have 10 different categories. So, and this is kind of like our frame of reference, again, for everybody out there, is going out and wheeling on the Rubicon Trail. Let's just say that one because it's a fairly intermediate trail, high-level intermediate trail. So you can get a very wide range of vehicles out there, and it's very highly trafficked. So you see a wide range of vehicles out there as well. So our frame of reference is coming from that. It's not going to be like going on up to Telluride.
Right.
Or something.
Okay.
So
not an overland.
Not necessarily overlanding. Yeah. So our criteria for this is any vehicles that we're considering has to be 4-wheel drive with a transfer case and high and low gears.
Yes. But I'm also looking at it as just Northern California trails that we've been out on.
Yeah.
Right. That we're a lot of these things are our personal experiences out on trails. So that's sort of how I'm taking it. Not specifically like all these answers aren't coming specifically from the Rubicon.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for like somebody from South Florida to be like, you didn't talk about a Mercedes 6x6 because those are around in Miami. And so
those aren't on the Rubicon.
Those are not on the Rubicon
or any other trail that I've been over. Maybe that will be an answer on one of these.
Nice. All right, so let's start with the first one, shall we?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Most common vehicle we see on the trails. Most common. What is the most common vehicle?
We have the same answer here.
Yes, sir. I believe we do.
A Toyota
Tacoma. Oh, no.
Oh, sorry. No. A Jeep JK.
A JK. I would agree.
Maybe 4-door. Soon coming to JL.
I think JLs are making a significant impact. I think the 4-door JK.
4-door JK. Most common vehicle we see.
For sure. Yeah. Is there any like close seconds, or do you think that everybody else is just kind of like
Jeep JL?
JLs. Fair. What about like most common
non-Chrysler or Stellantis product?
Non-Stellantis product.
Oh, that's a good one. I might say Toyota 4Runner.
You think a 4Runner? The 3rd gen 4Runners? Really? I was thinking mini trucks would be next.
Mini trucks, both of those, or 1st gen Tacomas.
Ooh, those are getting popular.
Those are popular too.
Seen a lot of those.
But I think there's still just a lot of the older trucks around too. So I don't know. I mean, that if we remove the Jeep one and non-joking, there's less Gladiators out there than other Toyota ones. But if we took Jeep and Toyota out, does that fall into our next category?
Probably. Yeah. Because I think that Jeep and Toyota probably does account for a massive, massive portion of vehicles that you and I see on the trails. So that next category would come down to the least common.
Yes.
Yeah, least common. This one I have to think about because I'm like, what do I not see that much of?
I know mine.
You know yours right away? Now, is yours something that you just never see, or is it that you don't see a lot of?
I don't see a lot of.
Okay. I'm going to go with a Scout.
Okay, that's a good one.
On this one for least common.
Not bad. Mine's a Nissan Pathfinder.
Yeah, that's another great one. I think I may only see like one a year of those.
Yeah, I almost never see them.
Yeah.
Or even the one that Power Tank Tyler had.
The Xterra?
Xterra.
Yeah.
Like, never really see those. But they had front and rear lockers stock.
The Xterra did?
I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They had at least a rear locker.
There was one rig from VW Volkswagen that actually had front and rear lockers stock.
The Touareg.
Was the Touareg?
I believe, but I don't think it has a low transfer case because I was thinking about that one.
Interesting.
And so I don't think it has a low range, which I could be wrong, but that was in my mind, but I don't think I've ever seen that on a trail.
I've never ran into one. Yeah. It was either the Touareg or the Tiguan. I forget. I always get those two mixed up.
You know what yours should be is the Rivian.
The Rivian. I've actually been seeing those quite a bit.
On trails?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. I was like, I've only ever heard you say you've seen them once.
Oh. No, we ran into them on the Gatekeeper and Rubicon.
Yeah.
And then I ran into a couple Rivians. Where was I? It was up in the Sierras, and I was getting ready to go. I was airing down to get on a trail, and they pulled up, and I was like, are you guys, what are you doing here?
Yeah. Where are you going?
Yeah. So yeah, I've seen more of those than Pathfinders. Yeah, Pathfinder's a good one. I think I see less Pathfinders than Scouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually see 2 to 3 Scouts a year.
Yeah,
roughly.
Scouts are cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the Ford Courier. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. But it's what Ultra Ford Jones raced in that Turkey Claw race this first year. But I don't think a lot of people like them because they're old.
I thought he had a Samurai that first year.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they ever came in 4-wheel drive. But I know people who have built them into 4-wheel drives.
Oh,
so
interesting.
I didn't say that one because I'm not sure if it actually fell into our criteria. But I'm mentioning it because it's an honorable mention for me on that one.
Yeah. All right. So most common, least common. Yeah. I think those work.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, Jeeps. Most common, least common. I'm going with Pathfinder.
What about full-size Suburbans, like the old ones?
I don't
like the late 80s, early 90s ones.
I've never even seen those out on a trail. I don't think.
I think I've only ever seen one because he's in the Gold Hills Posse.
Yeah, and he didn't he like back half that thing? Hasn't he like cut off chunks of it? Yeah, there is one out there. And he wheels that thing.
He does. It stays fairly clean, but he does take it out. Yeah, especially snow wheeling. He loves taking the family out snow wheeling in it.
Yeah, so that one's up there.
What about F-150s?
Those I think. I mean, you don't normally see full size.
Yeah,
I mean, like we could just draw the line there. But
any like, full size,
very, very uncommon on our trails. But there is a whole full size invasion event that goes on. So people do wheel those things. I don't think I've ever heard of a Nissan event.
There's a Nissan event. I forget what it's called out in Moab, but there's one.
All three of them show up?
Pretty much, yeah.
Cool.
3.5. So,
yeah. Well, there's one trailer behind the other one.
Yes. All right, let's go next one. What's your favorite vehicle to see on the trail or run into? What do you like? You're driving down the trail and around the corner comes this vehicle coming at you.
Yep.
And you just get giddy excited.
Yes.
What vehicle is that?
A 3rd gen Toyota pickup.
A 3rd gen pickup.
Yeah. Bobcat.
So
somebody else has the same rig as me. I get giddy. I love it.
Okay.
Like, dude, yes. And then we could talk for like 342 minutes about our rigs and all the same things we have because everybody almost builds them like ideal or identical. There's what I was looking for. But yeah.
That's fair. I'll give you credit. That's not where I was going with that. I was hoping you were going to be more fun than that. But I will say when I saw... oh my God, I'm blanking on his name now. Sideways SR5.
Yeah.
Justin. When I saw him come up the trail.
And he has the same rig as you.
Forerunner's Kermit's doppelganger. I did get really excited.
Right?
Yes.
Told you.
I did.
Yeah. All right. So moving away from our own rigs. I would say I really enjoy seeing 1st gen Forerunner.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
I like them. I think they're cool that they're still around. I like the removable hard tops to them. I just think there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can do with a 1st gen Forerunner. And there's a bunch of different ways, one way or another. There's a lot of ways that you can build the 1st gen Forerunner.
Yeah.
I think they look good. I was following one all day on the Winter Fun Fest. And I just was like, Dave's 1st gen Forerunner just looks good.
Yeah.
They're cool. I like the square bodies. I like the removable hard tops. They've got great guts. There's very similar setup to like what Bobcat has. You can put mini truck axles to full widths on them and they're a cool rig.
Yeah, I agree. I do miss my 1st gen Forerunner. And it's what I like about the 1st gen Forerunner is that there's not like bolt-on aftermarket support like there's on a JK, right?
Right.
So whoever has a 1st gen Forerunner, it's really kind of up to them as to how creative they want to be with engineering solutions.
Correct. Yeah.
And so you always end up finding these really creative ideas on 1st gen Forerunners for what people have done for things.
Yeah. I agree. I think I like that. That's another aspect is like there isn't like, yeah, there's a 4-wheel underground kit for it, but you still have to do a little bit of work to throw those things on. But it's not just a bolt-on solution, right? You have to do some measuring. You have to do some welding. You have to like put your brain into it.
Yeah.
And maybe that is part of, why I enjoy some of these older rigs is it's not an easy answer.
Yeah.
Like I can't just bolt on long arms and 40s and be like, and full widths and be like, woo, you know.
I know how to turn a wrench.
Yeah,
Yay.
I built this. I didn't buy this. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, I bought a kit and put 5 bolts in.
Yeah.
I did it myself.
Yeah.
Like, no, I want somebody to fab something. I like the, you know,
Good
looking
to put
at some of these
thought into where everything went.
Yes, I like the old rigs because you have to be creative to get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I
like
think that's
that.
part of it.
I like that answer a lot. I think my favorite rigs to run into are Scouts.
Okay.
I love the body shape of a Scout. I love the size of them. They're super nimble if you can keep the weight down on them. They've got great guts. And once built up and put some like beefy axles under them and not the 44s, I don't know. I just like them.
Yeah, they got a good body too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've got that older school square body style. They're pretty cool little
but a little
rigs.
bubbly because like Broncos, old school Broncos are more square body-ish style, right? And Scouts have a little bit more curve to them than Broncos do.
Are you talking Scouts 2?
Yes.
The 2As or 2s? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great. I actually like the little bit older ones, like the Scout 1s or Scout 80s. I think those are really cool looking.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think Scouts are probably my favorite to see in terms of just overall. If I see one coming down the trail, there are some other vehicles, like specific ones that I like to see and I run into, like Chris Paul's H3.
Yes.
I love
unique
running into that because of how unique it is and how many different things he's had to come up with.
Yeah. That one might even be our least common.
Least common, yeah.
An H3?
yeah. H3 for
I almost
sure.
never see those out on the trail.
Yeah. But yeah, the H3, I think that one's a really cool one. I love looking at, I don't know, buggies to me. Well,
we'll get into that later.
We'll get into that. Yeah, I mean, this is still favorite to see, right? So buggies are, I don't know, they seem to be like, they all kind of follow the same formula, kind of like JKs, right? You typically got a tube chassis, Dana 60s or 14 bolts and an LS.
Yeah.
So I like to see buggies that have different things going on with them, like Sue and Chai's buggy. They're mini the Tacoma and the 4Runner. They've converted into buggies. I think those are really cool because they're super streamlined, super simple, and he's had to do a couple of interesting little creative things to it to make it the way he wanted it.
Sure. Yeah.
Husband's buggy.
Oh yeah.
Has a lot of really cool creative little things going on with them, but like Jason Green's buggy, I'm like, it's a tube chassis with 14 bolts and an LS.
Right.
James and Rhonda's buggy. I'm like, it's a tube chassis, big axles and an LS. 43 TSL stickies. All right. It's just following the same cookie cutter build as a lot of other buggies out there. So those ones, they don't really interest me at all. But I love looking at the ones that are unique and you can see little creative things going on.
Like Harry's, Sidekick.
God, yes, that Sidekick was so cool to look at.
That thing was rad.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a Sidekick.
No.
It was a tube chassis, tiny motor.
Yep.
Toyota axles. But linked front and rear. And more or less, it was a buggy with panels on it.
Yeah, Sidekick
but
panels.
But it was unique.
It's super unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love stuff like that. That's what I want to see, and I get giddy when I see coming around a corner.
So that is your most favorite, is sort of along the same lines as mine. Sort of a unique, something that people have to pay attention to building. So what would your not favorite to see? Least favorite
four-door
to see?
JKs.
Yeah, see?
It's and
a dime a dozen.
And I feel like I might be just saying this because I do see so many of them. But I feel like they're all just a cookie cutter. Everybody does the exact same thing with them.
Not true. Some people paint them differently.
Fair.
See, I was going to go with second gen 4Runners.
Okay.
With stupid wide axles.
Fuck you.
Happy to see Bobcats. Not so happy to see Kermits.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think it's one and the same, right? Like I like seeing creativity. I don't like seeing cookie cutter.
Yeah, I think that's what it is for me. It's not necessarily I don't like the 4-door JK because I've seen some 4-door JKs that I really do like. Like Ryan on our run, Ryan Terpstra, he was helping the 3 ladies.
Yeah, it's like gray and orange.
Yes.
Yes, his is awesome.
That's a sweet 4-door JK build. And so there's definitely 4-door JK builds that I like. And I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. You did something different.
Right.
But so many of them I see, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah. But do you think that is something that also has to go with not from creativity and not creativity, but also most common and least common? Because most common is a JK or JL. Therefore, we see it a lot. We're not really that interested in it.
Those were my two answers reversed.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah.
Your most common was a JK or JL. Your least common was a Scout. Your favorite was a Scout.
Yeah.
Your least favorite was a JK or JL.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's just I just see so many of them, and I don't see enough Scouts that I'm just like, they're it's fun when they pop up, and then when I see another JK, I'm like, it's another JK. Whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Seen many of them. There's
if
so
you
many
put
of
an
them out there.
angry grill on there or light bars at the top or whatever, you're trying to be unique, but it's still the same build.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so shall we eliminate JKs and JLs from least?
So if that's the case, I'm going to take it a step further here.
Okay.
Toyota Tacomas.
Yes.
Do you like Toyota Tacomas, like 3rd-gen Tacomas?
Do you like them? Is the question.
Yeah. Like, do I enjoy seeing them, or do I get the same feeling that I do from the JKs? Because I feel like 3rd-gen Tacomas are all built very similar too.
They are.
There's very few people that does anything different with a 4-door Tacoma.
Right. That's one of the reasons I like my rig in the current status it is, which is ever so slightly built up.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have a roof rack. You don't have a pop-up camper on it, or a rooftop up on the roof, and
I'm on
storage cases and light bars and an awning.
Yeah. I'm up to 33-inch tires on like a 2-inch lift.
Yeah.
Which that's not a lot of them out there. A lot of them are 3.5-inch lifts on 35s. And that, it's just, so I feel mine's a little different.
Yeah.
Because it's not the cookie cutter that everybody else does.
Yeah.
But so is it cookie cutter enough? Is that the reason you don't like 3rd-gen Tacomas? And I'm putting those words in your mouth.
That's a good question, right? And I think it is. Now I'm really like, if I'm being honest, and I want to be like, no, I like seeing 3rd-gen Tacomas, but I don't. It doesn't get me going. It doesn't tickle my fancy. If someone says, "Hey, you want to check out my 3rd-gen Tacoma?" I'm like, eh.
Use a Morphlate. Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
No, I
think
I follow that.
Yeah, I think they're a really cookie cutter as well. So
they are.
I'm just not.
They are
not
the
interested.
cookie cutter of the overland.
Totally. Yeah.
That's what they are. And I think there's something to be said about, it's like, I've seen one, I've seen them all kind of a scenario, because it's true to some extent. Like, oh, you're lifted 3 inches. You've got 35-inch tires. You have a Prinsu roof rack and a bed rack and a rooftop tent. And you've got rock lights and ditch lights and a light bar in your front grill and a light bar on your roof rack.
A TRD Pro grill.
A TRD Pro grill and
a Viper cut.
And a Snail armor on your bed. Like, cool. That's 90% of the vehicles out there that are Toyota Tacomas.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the same way. So I think it's just that there's so many of them.
Right.
Yeah.
But if somebody came up to you and was like, hey, I've solid axle swapped my 3rd-gen pickup or 3rd-gen Tacoma, you'd be like, I might want to take a look at that.
I would want to check that out.
Because there's nothing simple about that.
No, there's not. There's a lot of problems you have to overcome when you solid axle a 3rd-gen Tacoma.
So if you start using some creativity, you do something a little different, people are going to be more intrigued.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I'm glad we got to hash that out.
Yeah. We'll figure out Tyler's life right now.
Yeah, right. Answering all my life's questions right now.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. So next category. Oh, this one's going to be fun. Most capable.
Yeah. And so we talked about this one for a little bit. Like, how do you define most capable?
Yeah.
And that's really what made us draw the guidelines, that it has to be 4-wheel drive, and more or less it has to have a high-low range T-case. Because we were talking about possibly some of the other things in our previous or the next category. So what is the most capable rigs we see out there on the trail?
Buggies. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you argue that.
Yeah, right. And part of me makes it feel like a lot of the reason why buggies are so successful and capable out there is because there aren't body panels.
And so people just aren't afraid to lean it against a rock.
They're just not afraid to wheel it harder.
Sure.
Because I see there's a lot of stuff that you do in Bobcat that I wouldn't attempt in Kermit, but I also have seen people do in buggies, and I'm like, yeah, that's a buggy only line. And then you do it in Bobcat.
Right.
And I think it comes down to the willingness. A lot of it comes down to the willingness to put your vehicle into that situation in the first place.
Yeah.
And so
I don't want to hurt. I don't want to damage Bobcat's body panels.
Mm-hmm. But are you upset if you do?
Yeah, well, sort of.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm upset. I'm like, dang it. All right, let's just keep going.
Okay.
I mean, I bought a new fender once after Hussman destroyed the other one by leaning it into a wall in Winch Hill 3.
Yeah.
And it was bad. I mean, you've seen the fender. I still have it. It's up on the wall. But yeah, it was bad. So I got a new fender once.
Yeah.
That's about it. But I think there's, to some extent, there's a lot of things that go into a buggy. Right? There's like much more safety involved.
Very true.
Right? They're in a full cage and not in a normal,
just a hard B pillar and A pillar
thing. Plus there's less body hanging around. Usually the whole wheel's exposed. They don't have a fender.
That's true.
You know, so I think that a
lot of them are boat sided as well.
Yeah.
So you just have a lot more clearance there.
Right. And so it's not necessarily that, it's because they're not a bodied vehicle. I think there's a safety factor involved in buggies that they're willing to put themselves out there easier, and because they have more confidence, because they have a better safety. They have more protection around them. They have, usually bigger, stronger axles and bigger tires and a bigger motor. And, I just keep going back to some of the safety factors, right? It's like you're like 4.5 point harness into your seat, and your seat's bolted down and doesn't have sliders, so True. It's like it's locked in place. It's built for you, so that's why they feel safer. Therefore, they go do sillier, crazier things.
Yeah.
And that's why we view it as more capable. Yeah.
So what about full-bodied vehicles then? So I think we both agree on buggies.
Yeah,
we both are like buggies
down.
or whatever. So about full-body vehicles, what about most capable in terms of full-bodied?
Before we go there, can we single out sort of a buggy?
Sure.
Like, is there one buggy that is more capable than any other buggies?
Interesting.
Can we? I
don't know.
I don't know enough about sort of like, I only know like a Bomber chassis and a Jesse Haynes chassis and whatever the hell Jason Green has.
Yeah.
I would say Jason's is probably the less capable of the other two, just only because the one that he currently has is just old.
Yeah.
Though he does wheel it very well. But I don't know. I mean, I would say that, bigger axles, bigger tires, not necessarily bigger engine for rock crawling. I don't think you really like my 22 RE. I feel is about all you need for a rock crawler.
I would agree.
But if you go do other things, then you're going to want a bigger engine.
I mean, look at the little buggies that are all over Trail Hero and Sand Hollow.
Yeah.
Doing all the cracks and the ledges.
They've got like 4-cylinder diesel TDI motors.
I want to say they're
whatever Hussman just put in.
The LZ9s is what they're using.
LZ9, the 6-cylinder
Cadillac engine
that weighs less than my 22 RE.
Yeah, I want to say they were using something even smaller than that, like nowadays, the now times, the current ones. But Dave Wong, I got to look over his buggy out at Trail Hero, and there's a lot of really cool stuff going on, but that engine is tiny.
Right.
It's a tiny little thing, and it's like, rock crawling and capabilities. Like, if you think about capabilities for off-roading, I think that there's, like, I think back to the shootouts at King of the Hammers, right?
So they're not doing this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know
They
that.
canceled it.
Yeah.
They said it was too boring.
I think from getting all the recoveries done in between.
I believe I think there was not enough continuous action. It was a fun. Oh, now we got to save that rig, pull it out, figure it out, recover it, make sure everybody's clear of the track. Okay, now let's run the next guy.
Yeah.
Oh, now we got to recover this guy. Downtime.
Yeah. 5 minutes of action for 45 minutes of recovery.
Yeah, something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. But anyways, going back to the shootout.
Back to the shootout, watching the rock bouncers come out
Right.
for the shootout, and then watching the comparison between the rock bouncers do it and the rock crawlers do it.
Yeah.
Was
Big
very
difference.
interesting to me. Huge, massive difference, but it wasn't like one had bigger success rates or less success rates than the other.
Right.
But you still made. So I wonder, is there like situations where a rock crawler would succeed and a rock bouncer would fail, and then other situations where rock bouncers would succeed and rock crawlers would fail?
Yes.
Yes.
And it just put them in their own places, right?
Yeah.
Like
true.
I wouldn't see a rock bouncer doing wee rocks,
True.
and I wouldn't see a rock crawler doing a rock bouncer's course.
Yeah.
Like where they got to
fly up the hill,
jump like a goalie and fly up a hill.
Yeah.
Like a rock crawler is like, I'm going to do this, but I'll be 3 miles an hour.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, I don't know. Is there a one type of buggy
That to rule
to
them all.
rule them all? I don't know.
I don't think there can.
I don't think there can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so eliminate buggies.
All right.
Most
So
capable.
full-bodied, most capable full-bodied vehicles.
Yeah, I didn't think about that because my answer was buggies, and
Yeah.
now you're changing it on me. Bobcat.
Honestly, I think mini trucks have it in this category.
I
Mini
like-
trucks are maybe first-gen Tacomas.
Yes, and I would go that direction. And my argument is almost any vehicle more or less that size.
Yeah. Longer. So you think longer wheelbase?
Not necessarily longer, even a single cab status, but body size.
Okay.
Right, because the smaller, in my opinion, the smaller the body, the more you'd be willing to get closer to a rock because your tires are probably farther out.
That's true. Yeah.
Right, so if you're you're a little off camber, but your tire is way over there and leaning against a rock, the cab's not that close.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally like the smaller bodies style stuff. I would say that maybe an early Jeep could be there, like a Willys
CJ5?
or CJ5, like stretched. It would
I was
need,
just saying, you need
CJ5
to-
would need to be longer.
Yes.
Maybe even 7 status.
I would
But-
say 8 status.
Or
But
an
the 8s are heavy.
FJ80? No, FJ40?
FJ40, I think on a 45 frame,
Yeah.
I think that would
Or
be.
But like an
But-
FJ40 body on a mini truck frame would be badass,
Dude, yeah.
right? Because it would be this super small body on just a little larger components
Yeah.
would make that thing rad.
If I ever do an FJ40, I would want to do one like Steve from Rancho Toyota Recycling.
I would want to do one. What was his name? CJ, LJ, DJ from the Rising Sun guys out at Moab that was with us.
Oh, that
on
one. Yeah.
The trail that we went through all the rivers.
Yes. Yeah, I've
Cane
been on a
Creek.
couple of trips now with him.
Yeah, his
that
his was
FJ40.
rad built. His is
Yeah.
awesome. FJ80 axles,
Mm-hmm.
14-inch coilovers, front and rear,
Mm-hmm.
stretched both directions,
Mm-hmm.
and a very clean body.
And that's very similar to how Rancho Toyota Steve has his setup.
Okay.
14-inch coilovers, front and rear, double triangulated front and rear with, I believe, an LS in it and 60 axles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I see something like that. I think could be up there as most capable. I think linked suspension,
mhm.
wide axles for whatever the platform is. Because if you have a mini truck and you go to FJ80 axles,
Yeah, you're good.
you're wider.
That's like the equivalent of a F250 Super Duty axles on a JK.
Yeah, kind of. I think like a 4-door JK, the bodies they're too big now.
They are.
They're
big now.
they're
super
larger
squared,
than a
yeah.
Tacoma, first gen Tacoma.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's
A
things,
4-door JK body is bigger than my 4Runner
right?
body.
Yeah. So I would go. I'm only really saying most capable because the body is small.
Yeah.
Therefore, you would throw yourself at sillier things because you're less afraid to hit them.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know if that
think-
makes it the most capable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would argue it doesn't, but I think you
Mhm.
would go sillier places.
Yeah. I look at that. I look at capability in terms of the ability for the vehicle to stay stable while you're doing stupid things.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of that is body, but I think that the body part of it is willing to put it in tighter spaces, right? And the ability to put it in tighter spaces, but also with a smaller body, you have less weight up high, and a longer wheelbase gives you more stability.
Sure.
So yeah, that's why I think I like mini trucks or first gen Tacomas.
Yeah.
For kind of that most capable category.
Mm-hmm.
Once you build them.
I would almost say, okay, here's where I was going to go next. Most capable stock.
Okay. That one, I would honestly say most capable stock.
Don't you dare.
I have 2.
Yeah.
FJ80.
Okay.
Or CJ8. No, because they don't come stock with lockers.
Right.
It would have to be, God dang it would have to be a Ford or JK.
Yes.
But I don't like how big the bodies are. Because, yeah.
I mean, I would say it's right up there with an FJ80.
FJ80s have big bodies too.
They're a big booty.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think most capable stock vehicle is a JK.
Yeah.
Or a JL now, whatever that genre.
Yeah.
Or maybe even a C or a LJ.
An LJ Rubicon. Yeah, I could see that one up there. Mm-hmm.
But, not a lot of Toyotas came locked front and rear.
Nope.
And FJ80s are big and heavy.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to count. They're not counted in that. First gen Tacomas had a rear locker, but not a front and IFS. Are there any other? I mean, you got Colorados, you got
Broncos,
the new Bronco, but
the IFS and those tie rods.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to snap those, I think, before anything snaps on a JK. Maybe not the steering box.
Yeah. So, all right.
The track bar.
I think we've beat most capable to death.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm curious where if somebody else out there has another idea.
Yeah.
Can get in contact with us.
Yep.
All right. The
least
opposite
capable.
of that. Yeah. What is the least capable vehicle out on the trails?
Yeah.
I have a very generic answer for this.
Okay. Then let's hear your generic one. I have a specific one, but it's totally me judging. And this is a mind frame of, I see one of these on the Rubicon and I think, you're going to have a hard time today.
Yeah.
So what is
my generic answer?
Your generic answer?
The one broken down on the side of the trail.
Okay. So XJs.
Yeah. Dumpsters. Shit boxes. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's actually, out of the last year, we probably have had the most recoveries with an XJ.
I will say, out of the most broke down vehicles I see on the Rubicon, it's XJs.
Right.
I see at least 2 XJs a year broken down on the side of a trail somewhere on the Rubicon.
Mm-hmm.
So
I could go with that.
That is fair. I see more of those broken down side of the trail than I see 3rd gen Tacomas, which was my answer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. There aren't many 3rd gen Tacomas broken down unless you're on a harder trail and they bent a tie rod or something.
Bent a tie rod.
And I'd go parallel with that with a Bronco.
I don't know. I wouldn't put Broncos up as least capable.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
But
how about 5th gen 4Runners? I mean, yeah, you could try to start making them capable, but they're still their approach and departure angles are shitty.
Their angles are all terrible. Yeah.
And if you're going that far, what about the 200 series?
Yeah, the 200 series too. I don't know. It seems like when I see a 200 series, I'm always impressed with what they do. And maybe that's just because I do view them as a massive, heavy ass vehicle. And so when they do stuff, I'm like, wow, all right, that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Kudos to you. Good job.
Yeah. Whereas I see a 4Runner do something and I'm like, yeah, you should be able to do that. That was kind of what you were built for in the first place. Whereas a 200 series, you're a luxury vehicle. Mm-hmm. You're taking a family of 5 to school, and a 4Runner, you're designed to go adventuring.
Right.
I don't know.
How about a Silverado?
I mean, yeah.
The Denali edition.
The Denali edition. Avalanches.
Ooh, Honda Ridgelines.
That's what I was thinking of. The Ridgeline. Thank you. I was thinking of Avalanche. I was thinking of a Ridgeline. I see a Ridgeline on the trail. I think you are going to have the worst day ever.
Do they even have a low range?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's a good
My
question.
buddy has one.
Uh-huh. We could probably ask Google real quick.
Yeah.
Ask Brian. Yeah, I think a Ridgeline. If I see a Ridgeline out on the Rubicon or a Rivian.
Yeah.
I know Rivians do not do well on the Rubicon. So
does Rivian have a low range? They don't, do they?
I think they have a low range setting, but there's no
Okay.
I mean, yeah, technically there's no transfer case because they have
Right.
one motor per wheel. And they're just managing how much power goes to the wheel
Right.
to get a low end torque.
Yeah.
But they do have a low range setting.
All those videos of the new Cybertruck have been super funny.
That is true.
But I doubt that one
I haven't
has it.
seen any yet in person though.
Yeah, neither have I. I want to though.
Yeah.
Okay. So
What's
I
a-
think
Least
I think we got to Ridgeline and we'll call it there.
All right. Well, Ridgeline is the winner.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. Best camping rig.
This one is a tie for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got an absolute winner.
Okay.
Banger. So you go first because I'm going to destroy whatever you said.
All right. So my tie is the 3rd gen Tacoma
Okay.
and a Gladiator.
Ooh, I'll go with Tacoma.
Okay. So that would be my like best camper. And it just depends for me. It would depend on what kind of trails you're trying to do.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do more rock technical trails, I think the Gladiator has the Tacoma beat.
Yes.
If you want to do more overlanding, long distance driving, the Tacoma has the Gladiator beat.
Sure. I would say that there's more available upgrades or cookie cutter things for a Tacoma than there are Gladiator.
I would agree with that. I think there's more options out there because it's been out more.
Mhm.
I think once the 4th gen Tacomas are released and out in the wild, I don't know if that'll be the case anymore.
Maybe not. So you want me to destroy you right now? Because I got a better answer.
I'm ready.
A Sprinter van.
Yeah. 4-wheel drive Sprint. Do those have low range?
I'm sure they do.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess a 4-wheel drive one would.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's fair.
And they'd way better. Or what about one of those Earth roamers, right?
An Earth Roamer? you taking an Earth Roamer on the Rubicon?
No, I would take a Sprinter van on the Rubicon. But we're not going to the Rubicon. We're going camping.
We're going camp. That's right. Wheeling and camping are two different things.
Yes, this is an overland category, not
Okay.
an off-road category.
Okay.
And
That's
I think I originally thought a Sprinter van, the Earth Roamer, I think would just destroy everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought a Sprinter van would be cool because they're really kind of cool to outfit on the inside. You can really turn it into a cool situation. Showers, toilets, all enclosed. It's a fairly decent ride. Slow, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think would be a cool camping setup, and you're not necessarily outside.
Yeah. I would agree to that. What about like an F-350 with a Lance?
I kind of wanted the same in a way. I mean,
kind of.
I think
the Sprinter van would be more capable.
I think an F-350 with like a 4-wheel camper would be up there.
Okay. It's kind of a smaller pop-up camper style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not a dually though. I think you just want to do single rear wheel.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of the full-size vehicles, right? Like the Dodge, what is that truck called? The Power Wagon.
Power Wagon.
The Dodge Power Wagon's outfitted out at P&W Expo that one year with the F550s and stuff like that. And I was like, those are actually pretty cool and capable. Once you build up everything and make them handle how much weight you're going to be putting on the beds of those things, those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Put them on 37, 38.
A flatbed big truck with a cool camper on the back would be a cool setup.
Yeah.
How reasonably priced is it compared to what you could do in a Sprinter van? I don't.
Yeah.
I think you could buy the 550 for the amount of money that you could outfit an entire Sprinter van.
True. That's fair. Yeah.
But if we're going with best camping rig, maybe we're up there somewhere. If money's not the option, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I would go with that.
Yeah.
I'd give a Sprinter van. And now I'm kind of going back to reality of like, what do I see out on the trails?
Yeah.
And when I'm out camping, what do I see that I'm like, that's a badass camp setup? And it's usually Sprinter vans.
Yeah.
Jerks.
Okay. Well, while you're out camping at a campground, what is your least favorite camping vehicle?
Subarus.
They don't have
Subarus.
I was gonna.
I know. But
I was gonna say Subaru, but it doesn't have a T case.
Least favorite camping vehicle, probably a JL's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
A
Mainly
JL
because
with
of
a
the
rooftop
owners.
tent?
Mainly because of the owners. You see JL out at a campsite, I will park as far away from them as I can. Unfortunately.
And they probably appreciate that as they see a 4Runner pulling up.
That's true.
They're
4Runner with a huge big
you were
white
on the other side of camp, and you're like, I don't want to camp near you. I'm going to the other side of camp.
Yep. Probably. It's just, I think it's, I don't know. That seems to be, not to knock jail owners. I think it's any kind of super new generation vehicle. It's just people that come into the hobby and they're new to the hobby and they don't understand a lot of the etiquette with behind camping, behind wheeling, and they are just there to kind of, I don't want to say destroy their vehicle, but they don't understand what their vehicle's capable of. And so you'll see them beat on it harder and harder because they don't understand where the breaking points are.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times when you see that happening, it's jails and jail owners.
Okay.
There's definitely exceptions to those.
Sure.
I'm not saying every jail owner is like that, but it seems like when I run into and have poor interactions with people out on trails or in campgrounds or something, they tend to be jail owners. So
okay.
I know.
My answer is
them and 5th gen 4Runner owners.
Any full-size pickup.
You are the least good for camping?
I guess I was more along the lines of you. It's like the person that, and I'm guilty of this because I have Clifford. But the person that has a full-size pickup brings everything in the kitchen sink.
Fair, yeah.
You know,
and you can like, put everything in it. Mm-hmm.
You got like camp lights and fairy lights and, you know, all kinds of games and all kinds of things. And you're not actually camping. You're just out living your home away from home.
Couldn't that be said about Sprinter vans too, though? I feel like we just caught Benji on base camping.
Yeah, I guess.
I think that people with Sprinter vans are people with Sprinter vans though are more likely to keep all their stuff near them.
Yeah,
and I feel like people in full-size trucks tend to get into a space and really spread out, and sometimes over the boundaries of what their space is.
Yes. I also want to go as I'll say that Sprinter van guys or gals are out there to get out there. Like I feel like the Sprinter van person is there to get into nature.
Yeah.
Where the dude that goes camping with a full-size pickup wants to sit and camp and drink beer while his kids scream and yell on a bicycle
and
riding around.
And the dogs run around awfully shitting in other people's campsites.
100%.
That's fair. I think that's interesting that both you and I kind of went to
the owner,
not a vehicle.
Okay, I'm trying to think of vehicle. Worst off-road camping vehicle.
That's funny. We both went to the owners.
I'm now thinking of just like what is the smallest like vehicle that's 4x4,
right?
That, you know, it's like an FJ40.
Yeah, a CJ5,
Willys.
a CJ5 or a Willys. Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Like, you know, it might just be some of those early Jeeps, like a CJ5, CJ, a Willys, or something like that. There's just no space for gear. You got your off-road gear, and you have a family of 4. You got 100 things on top of your roof rack.
Yeah,
what do you got? Okay,
Buggies.
100%. Buggies are the worst camping rigs ever. Yes.
Everything gets dirty and filthy dirty. All your camping gear, everything gets filthy dirty in them. If it's raining, everything's going to get soaking wet. If it's snowing on you, everything's going to get frozen.
You're going to be cold the whole time.
There's no space to carry anything.
Yes. That is funny. Buggies.
Right. Buggies.
Not off-roading. Camping.
All right. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that. All right. Time for the last 2.
Yes. This ones are kind of open interpretation, and Jimmy and I get to describe why we think or what our interpretation of it is. Right?
Yeah.
So top pick.
Top
overall vehicle.
Top pick and worst pick.
For everything.
Bobcat and JKs.
Perfect.
That was the same as my most common, or most common and least common.
I think it was your favorite, least
not
favorite.
What I don't want to see. Yeah. I really think my top pick is a 4-door first gen Tacoma on full width.
I'm pretty much there with you.
Yeah.
And this goes, and we've had this conversation before. I think we did it with Benji.
Maybe.
Trucks versus SUVs, right? I love the platform of the 4-door Tacoma because you have the truck bed, so you can just throw shit in there and haul it. You don't have to make sure it's clean or anything. You're not putting it on the interior, but you still have a back seat and storage space, interior space to throw your dry goods stuff, your clothes, your sleeping bag, your bed, that kind of thing. But I hate having to weatherproof gear. And so I really like the idea of SUVs, me personally.
Yeah. So 3rd gen 4Runner?
I think a 3rd gen 4Runner would be my top choice. If you tried to keep it as stock as possible, I would solid axle it with FJ80 axles under a 3rd gen 4Runner. And I think that would be an awesome all around vehicle. Probably my top pick. So
yeah.
I like the 2nd gen body and the frame rails and chassis. The whole chassis sits a little higher than the 3rd gen, so you have a little bit more ground clearance and breakover angle.
Yeah.
But the 3rd gen has the 3.4 in it, so and a little bit more creature comforts, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm there. If I were to go away from Toyota, I would just choose. I think a lot of older vehicles are just really cool. You know, I would love to one day build up like a 40s Ford.
Oh, okay.
You know, or something.
Like
totally
an F100,
obscure.
an old, or like an old one.
Old one.
Like a Model T.
Yeah, that'd be badass. But I don't know if that would be a top pick, so say. But, you know, I think there's a lot of really good rigs out there, and there's a lot of ways to build rigs, and there's a lot of different wheeling. So it's kind of hard to say, you know, what a top pick would be. But I think, you know, not Toyota for the type of wheeling we do. Man, that's not Jeep. I can't say Jeep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, though a Gladiator would be right up there with a 1st gen Tacoma kind of style.
See, I don't.
So it's longer though, but
it is longer. I feel like a Gladiator has worse, maybe not approach angle, worse departure and breakover angles.
Yes.
Than a Tacoma. So I think if you wanted to do a Gladiator, you'd have to bob it.
Yes.
And then you just have to lift them high because they have a long wheelbase.
Like 42-inch tires to get a good breakover angle.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot to get it to a really comfortable spot for those. But man, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like, what about a Colorado, or what about a Bronco, or what about what's the Ford
Maverick?
Not the Maverick.
Smaller one?
That's a mono, but I don't even think that has a frame.
Oh,
the
unibody?
The Maverick.
Oh,
I don't think it has a frame.
Oh, okay.
A Ranger.
Oh, Ranger. Okay.
See, I think Rangers are pretty. I think they would be pretty cool.
They're pretty good size. They're about the size of a Tacoma.
Yeah. An older Ranger though. What about is the S10 that Muddy Beard built?
Oh, that was pretty cool.
That one's badass. It's more or less a 4-door Tacoma, but it's it's a my year truck, a Bobcat.
Yeah. That would be a good one.
I just personally, I like smaller bodies and I like trucks. Yeah. So if whatever kind of fits into that genre it's something I would pick.
Gotcha.
And you like smaller bodies, but SUVs.
SUVs, yeah. All right. Yeah, I agree. So what about least favorite then? I mean,
Not including Jeeps?
Not including JKs, because I think you and I are both on the board about that, and we've talked about that one. I will say, I don't like seeing Gladiators on the trails anymore.
No?
I used to like seeing them. When they first came out, I was excited about Gladiators.
Yeah.
But it seems like the vehicles that have drivers that do not meet the capabilities of their vehicles, I think Gladiators are the top of that one.
Maybe.
It seems like I keep running into issues with Gladiators on trails.
Maybe, yeah.
So I'm starting to get annoyed with the Gladiators.
There's only one way to get capable within a vehicle.
I agree, and that's kind of the hard part that I struggle with is like, I want them to be out here, and I don't want them to struggle, but like the best learning experience, in my opinion, is to struggle through something and you really learn what happened and how to fix it for the future. Sure. But it seems like when you try and give advice and help Gladiator owners, they kind of scoff at you and they don't take the help and advice.
Sure.
And they just kind of want to just struggle on their own through it and inconvenience everybody else around them.
Okay.
That seems to have been my experience in the past couple of years with gladiators on trails.
Sure. I'm with you. That's not, I can see that. I'm going to go with a 5th Gen 4Runner,
Okay.
I think.
And why is that?
Just because you really can't build them up. You got to do a lot of work to it.
Yeah.
A lot of work to it to be able to get it to Rubicon.
Yeah.
It's possible. I don't even know if I've ever seen one out on the Rubicon yet.
I've seen them. One came through Rubathon a couple of years ago.
Okay.
He beat it up pretty good.
Yeah. I think they're a great soccer mom mall crawler setup.
Mm-hmm.
But like for our running, side hustle or whatever, running fun thing is will it Rubicon?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not easily.
No.
I mean, you can almost get anything to Rubicon if you put the time and effort into it. But the 5th Gen 4Runners up there is one of those, like, you got to put a lot of time and effort into this to get it to Rubicon.
Yeah.
Is it a good camping rig? Yeah, it's fine. It's probably a great camping rig. It's an SUV. Everything's protected. You got a decent amount of space in the back. It's a comfortable drive. It's old now. I mean, what? Did they come out in like 2015, 14, 13?
5th Gen 4Runners? Might even be earlier than that.
That long ago, and they haven't had a change yet.
Yeah.
So a lot of they've done some facelifts, but it's still kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think those are one of my least favorites at the moment.
I think the biggest, that would fall into the category of most disappointing vehicle to me.
The 5th
The
Gen?
5th Gen 4Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the 4Runner has such a rich history of being this adventuring vehicle.
Sure.
Right. And then the 5th Gen 4Runner is just very incapable for their heritage and their pedigree for what they were. Yeah.
I agree. Might be a bombshell.
Yep.
And on that bombshell.
So, curious, what are your guys' thoughts out there for any of these 10 categories? Most common, least common, favorite to see, least favorite, most and least capable, most and least, best and least best camping vehicle, and top pick. What is your absolute overall pick and your least pick for everything out there? Let us know. We love hearing back from you guys. We've been really enjoying all the feedback from people calling in. It seems like Reed is 50% of our calls for everybody else, but we still like hearing from you, Reed.
I am shocked Reed is caught up.
Yeah.
Because every time I talk to him, when I go to drop my panels off, he's like, oh, I'm like 5 behind. I'm like, okay, well, you're calling on relevant items now, Reed. True. So congratulations. You got caught up.
Yep. So you guys can call too. Phone number 916-345-4744. And again, if you are offended or hate anything that we talked about today, please call 408-800-5169. Let us know how we hurt you. We'd love to hear that as well. You can also reach us on Instagram and emails. That's 4x4 Toyota Tyler and Snail Trail 4x4 on Instagram, and Tyler or Jimmy at snailtrail4x4.com. And Facebook, I rate 4x4, all sorts of fun ways to get a hold of us. Again, we love hearing from you guys, so please send your feedback in. Send us in your ideas for these categories that we've gone over, and we'll air them and tell everybody what you think too. Jimmy, final words for everybody out there?
Toyota Stout.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling. Number 8 out of 600.
Maybe.
No, I think it's 5.
Maybe. Yeah. So a woman walked into the library.
Oh.
And she asked the librarian if they had any books about paranoia.
Oh.
The librarian said, right behind you.
That's scary. I feel like there's a movie that starts that way.
Maybe. I don't know.